This is our first impressions of kind of living in it and towing it for the first week we've had it. It's big. So it probably, I don't think it could.
It isn't going to fit in.
It might fit in. Now we have only owned this new Arcadia for a little over a week. And this is not a review. That will be coming a little bit later on the RV Lifestyle channel on YouTube. But this is our first impressions of kind of living in it and towing it for the first week we've had it. Our impressions, the things we've learned, and answering some of the questions that you've asked us about it.
Now, I think we've only covered about 350 miles in this, and this is our second campground to stay in. And this is just a short distance from our Sticks and Bricks home. But we were able to book it for 2 weeks, so 14 days we've got out here to figure everything out, accessorize it. We just got to get the feel for this place.
Now, I got to tell you that there's been a lot to learn because this is so different than anything we've ever had before. All of our other RVs have been Class Bs or Class Cs. This is the first fifth wheel we've ever had, and like I said, it's different.
Different in a good way.
All right, let's start with my truck. It's big. This is the tow vehicle. And if you are a regular, you have probably heard us talk about how hard it is to find a Super Duty truck. I searched all across the country. I probably spent 2 months trying to find one at an affordable price, and none of them are affordable. The one we finally settled on is gently used. This is a 2021 Ford F-250 Lariat 4x4 diesel. And we have been very pleased with it. We were a little worried that there might have been a smoker involved in owning it before. There wasn't. It smells just fine in there. In fact, it smells like it's a new truck. Had only 28,000 miles, and you know, in a diesel, that's just breaking it in. But getting used to driving it is a challenge. It is, it's a big truck, but it's a good challenge because in just 2 weeks that I've owned the truck, I've pretty much fallen in love with it. I really enjoy driving it, and I cannot believe how comfortable it is.
I gotta say, I was very reluctant about Mike buying this, but I have to admit, it is very comfortable. I have long legs, my legs are comfortable, I've got foot room, I can move around a little bit. We've got places to hold water and drinks, and we've got more back there. Leather seats, a nice handy bar for getting in and out. Great vision. I like to be able to look around and see everything, and I can with that. I like being on the same height as the trucks, I guess. I've never liked being down low. So it's very comfortable to ride in. So I'm a happy camper. There is one issue with the truck, and that's the garage. We had hoped that we could put the truck in the garage. Well, let me show you. You know, we wanted to just see how far the truck stuck out. I didn't think it would fit all the way to the garage, but I forgot about the heights. This is a big truck.
So it probably, I don't think it could.
It isn't going to fit in.
It might fit in, barely, but the antenna wouldn't.
No.
And
it's great.
And it's too long.
Yeah, I thought it'd make a funny picture how much would stick out in the back. I didn't realize that the height was there as well.
But you gotta admit, it's a nice truck.
If you like big trucks, it is a beautiful truck. And so far, so good.
Now we were, I gotta say, a little apprehensive because, well, we've never towed anything this big before. But I have to keep telling myself that I'm towing something because it's...
You better keep telling yourself you're towing something.
Yeah, it's been really smooth. And in terms of gas mileage, I was very curious what I would do with gas mileage when I'm towing this thing. And it looks right now that I'm averaging just about 14 miles a gallon for towing. And just to put that in perspective, on our Class C Leisure Travel Vans motorhome, I get 12.4. So far that's been pretty exciting, and we'll keep monitoring that and let you know the final statistics. But pretty close. I think it's 13.9 right now.
Well, I think the one thing that's really different to me is we can no longer park where cars park.
We can't go into Starbucks takeout anymore for coffee.
We can't, not that we ever did go to Starbucks, but we can't park where the cars park. Because, you know, sometimes in your B or your C, you can park. And then you've got a few spots that are a little bit extra long. You fit in there. Now we are definitely with the big guys. We are with the trucks. Yep.
And that means we can still use this thing, too. Even though we have a couple of slides and the slides are in, we'll show you what that's like at a rest area, and we're going to have some lunch. Hey, we should also tell everybody, if it looks like this video is a little shaky, it's because we're driving Michigan roads, and seriously, Michigan roads are about the worst in the nation, and these are really bad roads that we're on right now.
And it's not because we don't pay taxes for Michigan roads.
Yeah, it's not because we don't pay taxes.
Michigan roads, and then that money goes other places.
Yep.
Here we are, our first lunch on the road. We are just going to have peanut butter and jelly. I was going to make sandwiches before we left, but this is working out.
Now, I should point out, we are hooked up to the truck, and we are at a rest stop, and all the slides are in, but we can still fix our lunch.
Yeah. So this is working. We've got the chairs fastened down so we can't sit at the table, but we can sit on the sofa in the back. Looks like Bo's already in position in the back. Oh.
So this is very nice. And if we wanted to take a nap, like we did in the motorhome,
we would have to kick Bo off.
We'd have to kick Bo off, but we've got those sofas, and one can sleep here, and one could rest here.
And Bo, I don't know what's going to happen to Bo.
Bo gets the floor. So this is one of the slides, and it's pushed in, you know, for towing. But the refrigerator works. It's all good.
Refrigerator works.
Well, here is something I definitely don't like. And that is having to fill this up with diesel, especially when diesel is going for $5.19 a gallon. It's not filled up. It's just that this gas station, like many others, limits you to $100 on your credit card. Is that insane or what? So how much did that $100 buy me? 3/4 of a tank.
This isn't a review, it's just my first impression of the kitchens. If you look to the left, we've got our seating area. We're going to have some lunch. I've got the oven on. First time I've had an oven in a long time. Turned it on, preheating. It's getting nice and warm in there. I'm going to warm up the soup. I'm going to turn that burner on and warm up the soup. And you can see I got the microwave right up above. And right behind me is the sink and the kitchen area. The one dilemma that we have is this window. It's a screen window. So we've got to figure out some sort of window treatment. Because you know when you're in a campground, everybody's walking around, cutting through lots and everything. You're not going to want this window into your living area. So we've got a couple of different ideas, blinds, curtains, maybe some of that sticky film that keeps you from being able to see in. So we've got to treat that and figure that out.
And this is the front door of the Arcadia, and it too does not have any kind of a shade or any kind of a covering, so you can see inside. They do note up here though that it is ready for a special shade that Lippert makes, and I have one ordered. It's unfortunately on back order, so I don't know when I'll have it, but there is a solution for that. We'll have a little shade that will fit right in here in the opening.
One of the things you can't do enough of is reading your owner's manual. Go over it, and go over it. But I do have to say, I am a little distracted by these windows. They do such a good job of bringing the outside in. Now, we're just in an ordinary park right now, but I can't wait to get to some beautiful spot and be surrounded by nature and just sit and look out these windows.
One of the things I found I don't really need is a generator, and we did not order a generator on our Arcadia, but that's because I have this. This is actually a generator. This is the Jackery 1000 watt solar generator. Now I've set up a couple of 100 watt to 100 watt solar panels, and they're charging this right now. This thing will charge completely in about 8 hours with just the sunshine. So if you're at a campsite, you could leave it charging like that with the solar power. You can also charge it with AC. You can also run it off of 12 volts. There's all these adapters and plugs. If everything else inside the coach failed, it would power my refrigerator, it would power my lights, my television. We couldn't run the air condition on it, but it would keep us going off the grid. And with this thing charging through the solar connections every 8 hours, I could basically be energy independent for a long time off the grid. So that's why we got this Jackery. It's pretty nice. I've never used one before. I've seen them advertised a lot, and I'm delighted that we're going to have this as part of our equipment for the Arcadia. Now, what do we have on the Arcadia? Well, we have 600 watts of solar, and we have 3 100 amp lithium batteries, and we could expand that if we want. So I didn't really see a need to get a big diesel or fuel generator. This Jackery is my standby solar generator. It's perfect. Should everything else fail, I've got this as backup. Oh yeah, I just noticed as I was talking. Can you hear that noise? That's somebody else in the campground running a generator. Do you hear how noisy it is? Can you hear that? This thing doesn't make any noise. Okay, here's the big deal, and it is a big deal. It's the source of most of my aggravation. In fact, if I'm really honest, I'm a little scared about it, and that is hooking up the Kingpin here onto the hitch. It is a bit of a challenge, and as a challenge, I've got to line that up just right. I've got to back up the truck. I got it in there. Jennifer can kind of help me, but I don't want to mess it up. Now, Lippert, which is the big RV supplier, they make a device called One Touch Auto Level. It's on most of the fifth wheels that are sold today. It's a really handy tool. You just push a button and it will automatically level the unit for you. It works awesome most of the time. But if it's a little bit of an uneven surface that you're backing up onto and hooking up on, the unit's a little bit uneven, it doesn't work so well sometimes, and then you have to manually level it. That's the challenge that I'm facing. Now, I've watched a million videos on this. I've had the folks at Keystone show me how to do it. I've had Camping World show me how to do it. I've done it a couple times myself so far, but it's going to take me several more times, and I use that term several probably conservatively, several more times until I'm comfortable with it. It's a bit scary. Now is the time that is my challenge as I try to settle everything in here and make it mine and put everything where it needs to be, where it's not going to slide or bump, and know what I need to bring. So I've got some cushiony shelf lighter that I'm cutting, and I'm putting it in these drawers. I've got pots and pans in here, but just something to keep things from banging. And so I'm going to do that. I really like the lip. This one I think I'll have to get one of those rods that goes across here so that things don't come out. But I've been thinking a lot about rods. Maybe I'll have a couple of them. I don't want things shifting a lot. A nice thing is that I can put this shelf at different levels. So I got to find a home for everything. And over here, this is my challenge. I ended up buying a couple of baskets. And in this basket, I'm tall, I can reach. I'm going to have some paper plates, my real plates, and some bowls. And I'm just going to put those up here and then thread it in there. It's a tight squeeze, but it does work. And I've got another one there for some bowls, and I'll put things in the middle. I don't know what I'm going to do, but right now that's what I'm doing because I don't want things smashing and banging together. I bought one of these. I might buy more. I'm not sure what I'm going to put in it, but I've got one. Go back and get a couple other colors maybe, and that could look pretty through there. I think this is going to work for my dishes, and if it doesn't work, I'll figure something else out. Where to even put the paper towel roll is always a decision. I got the world's littlest dish rack, which is great for me. Works just fine, and I'm getting things the way I want them. Something to protect the sink, the interior of the sink. Figuring things out, where I want everything to go. That's always the challenge for me. And what I won't have on this one is the other one. I could hear things smashing around, so that was a pretty good heads up that I better adjust something. In here, it's going to be on its own until we stop, and then I'm going to go in and say, okay. Again, this isn't a review, it's just our first impressions. Now, how we'll use this fifth wheel, well, I'm sure we're going to change that as we use it more and more and get more familiar with it. But our initial thoughts is we're going to make this sort of a base camp for the property that we're turning into a kind of our own private RV retreat in Tennessee. And hopefully some property that we're going to find in Michigan that we'll be able to use it the same way. Park it there, and that's our base camp. We think it's going to work out pretty good. Yeah, and what we can't believe is how roomy this is and comfy. We can spread out, and I think we're going to really enjoy it. One thing I think we're sure of that we've really liked with this so far is the ability to not have to break camp every time you want to go someplace. We leave it set up, it's all set up great, and then we can go exploring or run errands in the truck. And I can't tell you how freeing that is to just be able to jump in a vehicle, our truck, and take off, explore, go buy groceries, do what we need to do. We want to stay in places a little bit longer this year. That's been one of our goals. For 10 years, we've been moving across the country, and we'd stay at a place a day, 2 days, go to the next, do some exploring, and we want to change that up a little bit as we get used to a little more comfort and room in the fifth wheel and all the adventure that's awaiting us out there. And also, I can't tell you how much Bo loves having the back seat to himself, looking out the windows. He's feeling like a real big dog. He's also really liking the room inside there as well. All right, so first impressions. We like it.
We do.
We like it more than we thought we would, actually. I mean, we knew we would like it, but it's really been great. And that's why we picked this campground for 2 weeks, so we can really dig in and get used to it and make sure we understand it. We'll again have a full review on it. We'll show you how we're accessorizing this. Jennifer will show you how she's organizing it all. We'll do the driving school video that where we learned how to tow, and lots more videos. So all of it coming up as we continue the adventure of the RV lifestyle, this time with the fifth wheel. We're Mike and Jennifer Wendland. Please do us a big favor, give us a thumbs up on this video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Please do so, and when you do, click the bell icon so you're notified when we have new videos online. Thank you so much for watching.
Happy trails.